One of the reasons why so many students struggle with the speaking section of the TOEFL is that, unlike the reading and listening sections, you cannot estimate your score for the section on your own. You need someone to listen to what you say, give you feedback, and tell you what you need to get a higher score. As part of the TOEFL prep course we created at LinguaTOEFL, I give consultations to students where I evaluate their speaking and writing responses. And what's interesting is that every single student I've had so far has repeated exactly the same mistakes, which usually results in them scoring 22 to 23 on the speaking section. And that's the typical score you're likely to get if you don't understand how the test works, regardless of your level of English. By the end of the consultation, however, most of these students scored 26 to 27 or even higher, while their speaking level has obviously not changed during those 30 to 40 minutes. So, what do you need to know to score 30 out of 30 on the day of the test? Hello, TOEFL takers! Welcome back. If you're watching this, it means you're getting ready to tackle the TOEFL speaking section. I'm Anastasia, and today we're diving into some game-changing TOEFL speaking tips that will have you speaking with confidence and scoring high. So grab a notebook and let's get started. Tip number 1, study the speaking scoring rubrics. To get a high score, you need to know what the evaluators are looking for. So the best way to succeed in this section is to know exactly what to say and what not to say. For example, some test takers only think about their grammar and vocabulary and completely ignore what they're saying. Others, on the other hand, do their best to give 2 reasons in type 1 question and start stuttering or making mistakes in order to finish on time. There are also those who think that they should give a broad summary of the reading in questions type 2 and 3, or those who think they should not summarize the reading at all. In any case, all these people will never score higher than 23. Even if their speaking skills are very good, there are 3 main criteria you need to be aware of: delivery, language use, and topic development. You need to pass all 3, not just one. This is why I spent a lot of time both in the TOEFL prep course I created and in one-on-one sessions breaking down the speaking rubrics, so that my students have a checklist of things they absolutely need to get a high score. This brings us to tip number 2. Learn time management. The TOEFL speaking section is time sensitive, with only 4 questions to answer in 16 minutes. You have only 15 seconds to prepare for question 1 and 45 seconds to speak. And in those 45 seconds, you have to develop your opinion on a personal question and give reasons and examples for it. For example, you will be asked, do you agree or disagree with the statement that female and male university students should have separate residence halls? Now pause the video, give yourself 15 seconds to think about what to say, and try to give a detailed answer in 45 seconds, giving reasons and personal stories that would support your opinion. Not so easy, is it? So you need to practice managing your time effectively during your answers. Set a mental timer for each part of your answer so you don't get caught off guard. For example, your introductory sentence in question type 1 should be no longer than 5 seconds. Otherwise, you won't have time to go into detail. In type 2 and 3 questions, you have to read the text, then listen to a conversation and a lecture, and then summarize what you learned in 60 seconds. Again, you need to know that you should spend no more than 15 seconds summarizing the reading, and at least 40 seconds giving details from the listening. You cannot effectively stay within the time limit if you don't use templates. Small structures for all 4 of your responses will help you score well and organize your ideas clearly. So tip number 3, start the same way for each question type. Simplify your approach by using the same introductory phrase for each question type. This will reduce the stress of getting started and help you start with confidence. This is why we need effective templates. For example, let's say your question type 1 looks like this. Your degree requires that you should choose a history course. Which of the following courses would you prefer? Art history, 20th century world history, science history. You only have 15 seconds to think about what you're gonna say. So in order to start confidently, you need to have an idea of what you might say. Of course, you can try to improvise, or you can use a set phrase. I can say, if I had to choose, I would definitely opt for an art history course. This would show the examiner that I can use conditionals. If I had to choose, I would. That I know idiomatic vocabulary, opt for. And that I can successfully paraphrase the task instead of just reading it. Also, I won't freak out about what to say, because whenever I see a question like this, I already know what my introduction will be. It will also allow me to spend more time on my reasons and develop them better. Another example. In question type 2, you will usually read a campus announcement and then listen to a conversation between two students discussing the announcement. You have 30 seconds to prepare, which is not a lot. So, if there is a change being discussed, you can always start your answer by saying, "The reading passage announces a change on campus." And then go on to summarize the reading. Imagine, you're stressed about what to say next, but you can confidently start with a memorized sentence. This will help you sound confident in what you say, which is important on test day, and give you motivation to continue with the rest of your answer. As you can see, templates are critical. Does that mean you cannot score high without a template? No, you absolutely can. But templates make your life a lot easier, increase your score, and help you prepare for the exam faster. That is why we have included both speaking and writing templates in our TOEFL prep course, which are sure to improve your speaking and writing scores and make you feel prepared and confident on test day. If you are struggling to prepare for the TOEFL test, cannot find the right resources, keep running out of time on the reading section, or stay silent during the 45-second speaking response because your mind goes blank every time you see the timer, click on the link in the description. We'll fix all that and help you score 100 and higher and achieve your dreams. Tip number 4, pick the right time and place to study. Avoid studying when you're too tired, especially at night. You'll only waste time and not improve. Instead, find a time in the morning or afternoon when you can concentrate better. 10 minutes of focused practice is much more beneficial than an hour of idling around the questions. For example, what I usually do with my students during our consultations is take a list of type 1 questions and then practice them for about 10 minutes. At first, I ask them to come up with opening sentences for 15 to 20 questions in a row until the skill becomes automatic and they no longer think about it. You should also practice answering questions in a noisy environment, since this is what you might experience on test day. Of course, you can practice in a quiet room first, but then play some music in the background or turn on a podcast to distract yourself. On test day, you may hear other students talking, so it's better to be prepared for a noisy environment ahead of time. Tip number 5, use a timer. Practice under time pressure to get used to the test conditions. It may sound obvious, and it probably does, but you should embrace the timer as your ally. There are students who are afraid of time, so when they see the minutes ticking away, they panic and cannot say a word. You can try speaking without the timer first, and then slowly incorporate it into your practice routine. Look at the clock at least twice during your answer to stay on track. For example, in questions 2 and 3, if you see that you have 40 seconds left, you should move on to the listening summary. Tip number 6, expand your vocabulary. Don't stick to the same set of words. Include a variety of vocabulary to showcase your language skills. A diverse vocabulary not only impresses graders, but also adds depth and richness to your responses. This doesn't mean that you need to stuff your answers with low-frequency academic words that no one uses except in academic articles. Use thematic and idiomatic vocabulary. In our TOEFL course, we have compiled a list of such words on various topics, so you don't have to find them on your own. If you choose to prepare on your own, research topics such as science, study, work, entertainment, environment, and come up with 10 to 15 word lists for each topic. Tip number 7, practice, practice, practice. You know what they say, practice makes perfect. Record yourself responding to various TOEFL prompts. Play them back, identify areas for improvement, and fine-tune your responses. The more you practice, the more comfortable and fluent you'll become. And hey, it's a great way to track your progress. I like to give my students raw scores for each answer they give because it motivates them to keep going. Start with question type 1, then move on to question type 2, and so on. You can also do complete speaking sections on YouTube to simulate the test conditions. Tip number 8, get professional support. Consider seeking guidance from experienced teachers. Whether it's a TOEFL tutor or an English teacher, having someone to guide your studies can be immensely beneficial. You can take our Get 100 Plus on TOEFL course to improve your skills, or use any other professional support out there. The important thing is that you get feedback a little earlier than a few days before the test. If you schedule a consultation the day before the TOEFL test, you will not have time to implement the skills and feedback that you will receive. So allow at least a few days between your consultation and the test. These were my 8 TOEFL speaking tips to boost your confidence and raise your score. Remember, the TOEFL speaking section isn't just about speaking. It's about speaking strategically. If you found these tips helpful, click the bell and don't forget to subscribe for more TOEFL tips and tricks. Now, go out there and conquer the TOEFL speaking section. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!